Hey there, welcome to Teams That Swear. I'm Adrian Balarjan, author of Teams That Swear by Each Other and Not About Each Other. I believe the strength of any organization comes down to one thing, and that's how well its people work together, and especially how well an organization's leadership team work together. Now, if you're looking for genuine strategies that actually work, you've come to the right place. This podcast is about cutting through the noise, getting to the heart of what makes teams tick, and giving tools you can use today. Hey there. Today, we're tackling a challenge that even the most senior executives struggle with. And that's how to use your time together as a leadership team in the most effective way and spending your time together on what matters most instead of getting pulled into the weeds. Now, even at the top, I've found that teamwork isn't always smooth. In fact, if they aren't working well together, it causes massive issues. If a leadership group isn't intentional about how it does together, it can easily slip into time wasting, never-ending meetings, slowing down progress across the business, and turning senior leaders into order takers instead of order makers. Now, this topic recently came up in a conversation that I had with a C-suite executive. For the sake of the story, let's call the executive Shannon, and the title of our story will be The Struggle to Elevate. Now, one of Shannon's areas of focus for his year was to help his peers, the executive team, shift their focus, spending less time solving problems their teams could handle and more time driving the bigger picture. He's noticed a common trap that many leadership teams fall into. They get stuck fixing issues that should be delegated. They often overanalyze decisions their teams have already made. And they fill meetings with operational discussions instead of strategic and open conversations. Does that sound familiar? Now, Shannon saw an opportunity to challenge this pattern. At one of the recent executive meetings, the CEO asked the group to share their aspirations for the year. Shannon thought this was the perfect chance to express his vision for the group. As he spoke about the need to lift the quality of conversations, he looked around, he saw nods of agreement around the room, and the team had great discussions about what great could look like, and everything seemed to be quite productive. But the real test came shortly after. Let's call this chapter the moment that shifted the conversation. One of the agenda items included two senior leaders from the next level down in the business to join the meeting and present an update to the executive group on an initiative that they had been driving. The two presenters had put in the work, outlined their objectives, and shared their plan. Then came the feedback. Oh, why would you take that approach? How do you know that that's actually going to work? Shannon was shaking his head. He had seen this before, and this time he couldn't stay quiet. Hold on, he said. I can't get past this. These guys have stepped up, defined success, and built a plan to achieve it. I say, well done, off you go. If you need anything from us, let us know. Otherwise, I'm not interested in nitpicking their approach. They've done the work. Great job. Keep going. Now, Shannon's comment sparked something bigger. After the two had left the meeting, the executives debated how much detail should they really be involved in. Some of the executives felt they needed to step in if an approach wasn't going to work, while others believed that leadership is about letting people learn by doing, even if they fail. It was a constructive discussion, and it raised an important question. Are you leading leaders, or are you managing their work? Now think about your own leadership team. How does your team engage with the next level of leadership? Do you give them space to grow or challenge their approach because it's not the way you would do it? How often does your team discuss what should and shouldn't be on team meeting agendas? Are your get-togethers driving value Or are they weighed down by details that don't require everyone's time? And lastly, how intentional is your team about improving the way it works together? Do you take time to reflect on how you operate, or is it all about business tactics and results? What would change if your leadership team worked better as a unit? Would you have more time for strategic work? Would your team feel more energized? Would your business perform at a higher level? And here's the biggest question of all. What's one conversation that you could start that would change the game for your team? That would change how your team one works together? Now, Shannon used his moment to shift the conversation. What could your moment look like? Now, here's an interesting and important part of the story that you have to be prepared for if you find that moment and act on it. After this meeting, Shannon's CEO pulled him aside. Hey, do you have the shits with the team or what's going on? Shannon was caught quite off guard. This wasn't his intention at all, and he shared that with his boss. No, I don't at all. But we do need to lift. We can be better, and we need to be. Now, if I gave the wrong impression, I totally apologize. I'll watch that for next time. Now, imagine being a CEO and hearing that from one of your executives. An executive who challenges the team to be better, doesn't accept mediocrity, and takes ownership if their message lands the wrong way. That's the kind of leadership that transforms teams. So what's your move? What's the conversation you need to start in your team? Have a think and then have a go at helping your team do together better. Cheers. All right, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for joining me on Teams That Swear. If today's conversation sparked a thought, a question, or maybe even a new perspective, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you're ready to transform how your team works together, reach out. I'd love to help. Because teams that swear by each other and not about each other don't happen by chance. They happen with intentional, deliberate action. And the first step starts with you.